lost him. And you know what? It was just about to get good, too. It was just getting good. We lost
Should
him.
we take the break and maybe he'll call back? I don't know.
You know what? We can take the break, and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him, because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff, and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock?
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have a... I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. I bet you that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the northern panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous.
Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game.
I know.
And you were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So because I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some cred? Are you like, hey, I'm actually kind of a sports show? It's syndicated.
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the
Only
rest
edition.
of the edition, yeah.
Yeah. Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
It's going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who were from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
It's MetroNews Talkline. We are live once again at the West Virginia State Capitol. We'll be joined by Governor Morrissey in just a matter of moments. This is MetroNews Talkline. We are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome to the Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. Dave Wilson, TJ Meadows with you from the second day of the West Virginia regular legislative session. Stephanie Pauly's our video producer. Jake Link and Zach Karolchak back in Morgantown, and Ethan Collins on the audio side of things. Got a lot to get to today. Let's dive right in. Fresh off his second State of the State address, joining us here at the AARP broadcast location, Governor Patrick Morrissey. Governor Morrissey, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you. It's good to get the State of the State through. Now get to roll up our sleeves and work for the next 59 days, right?
Let's dive right in. You talked about a lot of goals in your speech last night. Increased funding for higher education, tax cuts were in there as well. Broadly speaking, then we'll dive into the specifics. How do we get it all done?
Well, we get it all done because we've been making the tough decisions that matter for our state. We're putting our citizens first, trying to make sure that they get the benefit of the economy we have in West Virginia. As a lot of people know, we had $128 million in surplus through the first 6 months of the year. So we want to make sure that that money goes back to the people where it belongs, and we have to prioritize that. But there are a lot of other important needs and challenges facing West Virginia, so we're working to address that. Monies for public schools, and we talked about some of the programs there. The Hope Scholarship, our school choice program, this is the first year that it's being fully funded and implemented. We've made sure that we pre-fund for that. We're doing all this because we made the tough decisions. Last year we came in, we pointed out correctly there was some big financial challenges, but you know what? Rather than stew in the corner, we worked at it, and everything we said is coming true. And we made the tough decisions to reduce the spending in key areas so we could focus on the priorities. And guys, the priorities are the fundamentals. They're not always sexy, but if you do site selection, site remediation, water, sewer, broadband, energy purchase agreements, that's what's going to be really attractive to people. And last year, a lot of the work we did was focused on those fundamentals. So when you do that the right way, people naturally come into your state when the economy is better. That's how we're putting it all together. But I really appreciated the welcome we had last night from the House and the Senate. We've been working closely with them on a lot of initiatives, and I'm optimistic. I think we can get a good, strong tax cut through, and I think we can get a fiscally responsible budget that works for the citizens of our state.
You called for 10% last night, reduction in personal income tax. I was looking at the budget a bit this morning, and we were talking and looking at some of the out years. And we're showing a couple $100 million, even all the way out like 4 or 5 years to like $400 million. Can we afford that 10% with what we face in the out years?
Sure, we can. In fact, if you look at last year, you could see the progress that we've made, and my administration has made it a priority. We've not only brought back the 6-year budget, and I think that gives you the transparency that you need, but we have been aggressively auditing agencies, and we're looking for savings constantly. And I talked a little bit about what we did in the long-term care facility business. Government never should have been in that at all, and we made the right decisions. Those decisions hadn't been ever made in the past. There are a lot of other decisions like that to make sure that we're keeping spending down and we're looking at waste and abuse. So absolutely we can. The numbers for the 6 years are better than they were last year because of the decisions we've made. But, TJ, I look at it as that this is a priority to keep pace with our competitors. We're in a dynamic world. We don't live on an island. We have to compete with Kentucky and Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Who has flat tax.
Yeah, so, all these other states are making decisions to lower their taxes. I want to make sure that I'm keeping pace with them. And then separately, I also want to address the affordability challenges that are out there. We know that the price of energy and our power bills have gone way, way up. The price of groceries and fast food and so many things have presented challenges for everyday West Virginians. I want to address that, and I think that has to be our top priority.
Governor Patrick Morrisey is joining us here at the ARP broadcast location, day 2 of the legislative session here at the state capitol. You talked about higher education, increased funding for higher education institutions. Where do you see those dollars coming from, and why is that a priority?
Well, it's a priority because we have to invest in our people. So we know that if you could succeed in terms of educational attainment, then you're going to have a successful state. And almost if you do nothing else right, if you have a highly educated population, good things happen. So that's what motivates me to make sure that there are adequate resources, not only in K through 12, but obviously higher education as well. That's both the 4-year institutions and the technical colleges that I think are really going to be a key to our success. I've been on the phone with a lot of companies over the last year, and one thing that I'm convinced of, we're going to have a lot of really big projects coming in, and so many of those jobs are going to be in the technical sphere, the VOTech, the electricians, the plumbers, the sheet metal workers. These VOTech jobs, they're really attractive, and they actually pay a lot. You could be an electrician and make more than lawyers and other people, but we want to make sure that we're sending a message to the young kids coming out today that they're going to be really good systems for them that allow them to stay in West Virginia, and we have to also focus on net migration to get more people to come in. So I think it's a priority. So when we crafted the budget, we made sure there was a full formula that the legislature passed a few years ago that we're doing that. There's some changes and some offsets as well, but it's net more than it was last year because of the tough decisions that we're making. So, we spend a lot of time on the budget. As you guys know, I go through and I meet with all of the departments and I spend time on it. And the budget you see is reflecting the priorities of the state, investing in our people, investing in education, being very laser focused on economic development. You see the numbers that we had since October, over $4.5 billion in private investment since October, projected to be over 4,200 jobs. I know what I said last night, 15 to 20,000 new construction jobs. I think that may even understate it. Given the discussions we're having, I do think we're going to have some big announcements on the data center front. But, I like to wait until things are real. I'm not the guy that's going to come out. You guys know that about me. Maybe that's the old attorney general in me. But, once we know and it's clear, then we announce it. But I think there's a lot of good things coming to West Virginia.
Always be closing, Governor. Always be closing. Let me tell you or talk to you about labor participation.
Yeah.
We had President Randy Smith on yesterday, and you talk about these jobs. That's great. That's one side of the equation. I'm just going to be blunt. We got a lot of people here that do not want to work. That's reflective in our labor rate participation. He said we make it too easy not to work. Would you agree with that?
Well, listen, I'm the guy that has been pushing really hard to make changes for SNAP and Medicaid for work requirements, right? So My theory is this, guys, that if you're sitting at a 54.3 workforce participation rate, what if we just only modestly succeeded? Let's say we could get to 56.3. Can you imagine what the economic effect is of having more people like that enter the workforce? What it does to the economy? What it does to the tax revenues? What it does to the communities around the state? This is the number one challenge that we have. And I've been saying this for years. We have to increase our population. We have to increase workforce participation. Nothing is more important. Obviously, economic development is a big part of that. Training our workers is a big part of that. But making sure people have the opportunities and that the kids want to stay in West Virginia, that's really key. That's why we invest in the educational institutions, because our kids are our best asset.
Governor Patrick Morrisey joining us here at the AARP broadcast location. You mentioned this during the speech last night, that West Virginia residents, and it's not unique to West Virginia, but feeling the pinch from higher utility costs, higher housing costs, higher grocery bills. What can state government do? What can your administration do to help West Virginians address those growing costs?
I think what we could do is exactly what I articulated in my speech. So if we pass a 10% income tax cut, that's going to help. Is it the complete solution? Absolutely not. But if we keep doing what we're doing in terms of our 50 by 50 energy plan, where we're trying to triple the power generation in our state, ultimately West Virginia can get to the point where we're an even more aggressive net exporter of electricity. That's one of our strengths right now. We have to build on. When you do that, my goal is to make sure that gets factored into the rates. Because if we're producing all of this and sending a lot of that power out, we're going to be in a place where West Virginia ratepayers benefit from that. That's the goal. That was actually how we crafted the data center law last year, that when you're building these data centers, the cost don't get borne by the citizens. They're going to be borne by the data centers that are coming in. And we think that's an important principle that we're going to keep fighting for, and that we've had conversations with the Trump administration about that, with the PSC and others. We have to make sure that our citizens aren't bearing the freight for a lot of these investments, and that's I think, a good combination.
The House wants a Jobs Ohio type mechanism they're calling Team West Virginia. I'd like your thoughts. Should we do Jobs Ohio here in West Virginia?
Well, listen, I'm looking forward to seeing what the House is putting together. You know, as the way our constitutional system works, you know, I have to show my cards a little bit earlier than others, right? I give my budget, I lay out the priorities. So we want to see details. So I'm always open-minded to look at the details. But I will say this, the advantage West Virginia has is in speed. If we can get to speed to build and having a red tape cutting machine in state government, I'll tell you, as an old regulatory lawyer, I know I used to represent companies. If you could move fast and you could get rid of regulatory burdens, that's a major factor determining whether companies are going to come locate. So my emphasis, of course, we have the right array of incentives and we compete effectively, but I want to keep focusing on the fundamentals. And you could focus on chasing the next company and spending $300 million, and we're going to not rule anything out, but I'd rather put the money into the fundamentals of the water, the sewer, the site selection, the remediation. But I'm open-minded to see what people are going to send my way, and certainly look at the process. And I hope they're going to consider a lot of what I'm putting on the table in terms of workforce, in terms of economic development. And, you know, if they're open-minded with me, you know, I'm going to be open-minded with them.
Quickly, and we're always running out of time. We could spend 2 hours talking about what you hit on last night. But every year we come down, PEIA is a conversation.
That's right.
Very few people have been able to articulate to me what is broken that needs to be fixed. You talked about needing to reform it. What needs to be done?
Well, a couple things. First, we have one of the most generous state health insurance systems in the country, bar none. But, you know, right now, that system is really tied inextricably to the dramatic rise in healthcare costs that we're seeing nationally. You know, the rise of hospital cost and prescription cost. And here in West Virginia, we're not immune to the national trends. But what you can do is you can work really hard to make some of the changes and ensure that some of those extra pennies are not falling through the cracks. That's what we've done over the last year. And through a lot of the tightening of the belt, what we've seen is that the premium increases from the previous years, I believe it's the 14 and the 10%, we were able to work really, really hard and get that down to 3%. That makes a big difference. We were also able to shore up the retirees portion as well, because I am particularly sympathetic to retirees because they're not getting pay increases. You know, they're not working. Like, for example, on the state workers, we're giving our state workers a 3% pay raise.
All state workers.
So all state workers. I think that's important. There's some people that want to narrow it. Well, look, if you're a first responder or you're out there patching the pothole, I think you deserve to get a raise as well. And, of course, we want to treat our teachers very well. So I think what we've done is we tried to have the right balance in our approach. And I'm very hopeful that the people of our state ask the legislature, hey, let's move that agenda quickly.
School aid formula.
Yeah.
We going to hit it this time? Because we have counties that are up against it.
Listen, I know that that's a really big issue. We've just been getting more information about what's coming in Hancock County and in other places. So I'm looking forward to getting briefed on the recent developments. But one thing I mentioned in my speech is that we're really going to be investing in a few types of systems that have proven very effective in other states. I mentioned the letters program, what Mississippi did with the science of reading. I think education's important. School choice, really critical for the future of West Virginia, but you have to also invest in public education. And I think our letters program, building on what Mississippi did and building out digital literacy to facilitate better online tutoring and other things will make a difference. So we're going to look closely at all of those issues with the legislature. We know that school aid formula hasn't really been opened up very much in the last couple decades. It's difficult, but I'm eager to do it. I mean, there's nothing that we're not going to be willing to look at. I mentioned over the summer we really wanted to get something on PIA. You know, I know that there's some people that are nervous about doing that. I think we need to be bold. We need to always tackle the challenges that are in front of us. That's how we're going to grow as a state. So whether it's school aid formula, PIA, or the difficult decisions, let's not kick them down the road. I have confidence that this legislature, we can work together and we can get it done.
Governor Patrick Morrisey, I would say now the work begins, but the work's always going on. But now it's a sprint for the next 58 days.
Listen, it's going to be a great time. I'm excited about this session. I think that we feel good. We were able to get a lot done in our first year. You know, we tried to take the time and explain all that, and I think there's no reason why we can't get even more done in the years ahead.
Governor Patrick Morrisey, appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much.
Yep, be well.
This is Talkline live from the state capitol. Back in a moment.
Movement disorders at the WVU Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute. We offer world-class care for patients suffering from any type of movement disorder, like Parkinson's disease, tremor, tics, or dystonia. Our patient-centered approach starts with knowing your story, and through our advanced therapies, getting you back to living your life. Expect more from your healthcare team. Expect personalized care. Expect excellence. Call 304-598-6127.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Metallurgical coal builds the world, and the Met Coal Producers Association is the network that makes it possible. The MCPA unites America's met coal producers, giving members a powerful voice in policy, partnership, and progress. Producers, suppliers, and innovators come together here to build relationships, drive growth, and strengthen our industry. Join today. Visit metcoal.com. Met Coal makes it possible. MCPA makes it personal.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
It's Toyotathon, and we're determined to make this the best one yet. Starting now, when you purchase any brand new Tundra or Tacoma, you'll drive away with a personalized Dan Cava Yeti cooler. This December, unwrap incredible deals like 2.99% for 72 months on 2026 Tundras. Snow, sleet, or holiday travel, your perfect winter ride is waiting for you. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Dave and TJ, Upper Rotunda, the West Virginia State Capitol at the AARP broadcast location. House Finance Committee Chairman Vernon Criss is going to join us a couple of minutes from now. Looks to me like Senate and House Finance. Well, we know House Finance is over because Vernon's sitting right over there. But people milling around. Seems those Finance Committee meetings just wrapped up.
I think they sucked up the people out of the rotunda here. Everybody wanted to see the numbers. They got some of that detail, and that's really what you're going to need, Dave. I mean, we just talked to the governor. 10%. He wants it. It's going to come down to, I think, whether or not lawmakers believe we can afford it.
And he's got to sell it. He's got to get out and sell that vision. Whether it's the 10%, the 3% pay increase, the increased funding for higher education, increased funding for public education, got to get out and sell your vision. And he'll be doing that the next 50-some days.
And he's not wrong. I mean, we do have that $128 million surplus. We've had surpluses every year. Do you forward look? Can you project you're going to have that? Or maybe it's a backward-looking thing. Do you take the surplus and return it after we know we have it? I don't know. We'll see what lawmakers want to do, if anything at all.
Maybe Vernon Criss knows.
He may have an idea or two.
He is the House Finance Committee Chairman. He's going to join us coming up on the other side of the news break. Later, Kanawha County Delegate Kayla Young will stop by. Second hour, Larry Pack, State Treasurer, will join us as well. Brad McElhenney and Amelia Nicely will be on set as we continue from the Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. I promise at some point we will get to the text line. It might be tomorrow. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. If you want to send us your thoughts, 304-TALK, 304, that is the text line. Now we got some buzz in the state capitol. It was really quiet early this morning, those early meetings today. Really quiet. But now we got a little bit of a buzz in the state capitol with those meetings. Floor sessions begin at 11 o'clock this morning. Stephanie Pauley is our video producer. Ethan Collins on the audio. Zach Karolchek and Jake Link are back at network control in Morgantown this morning as well. We'll talk to the House Finance Committee Chairman Vernon Criss coming up. Other side of the break, Dave and TJ in the Upper Rotunda, the West Virginia State Capitol. Talkline on MetroNews for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It is 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
Governor Patrick Morrisey.
If you are ready to work, West Virginia is ready for you.
Morrisey in his State of the State address last night touting recent job announcements and promising what he says will be an improving state economy. Morrisey asked lawmakers for a 10% cut in the personal income tax and a 3% pay raise for state workers. Ohio County Delegate Sean Fluharty calls Morrisey's speech a missed opportunity.
I want to hear some real solutions for the problems that are facing everyday West Virginians. Our utility rates are skyrocketing, our young people are leaving at the highest rate in the country, and our workforce rate's the lowest participation rate in the country. Yet I didn't hear any real policy solutions whatsoever when it came to those problems that face everyday West Virginians.
There are a number of committee meetings today at the Capitol floor sessions that began at 11 this morning. NIOSH workers going back to work. Those federal workers who study and help improve conditions at work sites have been informed by the U.S. Department of Human Services that extended furloughs announced last year during DOGE cuts have been rescinded. The move impacts the big NIOSH office in Morgantown. Retired NIOSH worker Anita Wolf says the Federal Workers Union kept fighting.
It's just wonderful. I don't know what made things turn around quickly, but it did, and we'll take that.
You can read more about the callbacks at WVMetroNews.com. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Since 1914, Greer Limestone and Asphalt have been laying the groundwork for America's roads, buildings, and bridges. What started as a single limestone mine near Morgantown, West Virginia, has grown into the state's largest producer of limestone aggregates. But Greer doesn't stop at rock. Greer's Morgantown and Clarksburg asphalt plants produce top-tier paving mixes for driveways to major highways, crafted to meet federal standards. At Greer Limestone and Greer Asphalt, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? Chenoweth Ford, RG Motorsports, Bridgeport Express Care, North Central West Virginia Airport, Harrison County EMS, and Hydrodynamics present the 47th Annual Budweiser Tough Man Contest. Welcome by 5 News, WDTV, and 97.9 WKKW. Coming this Friday and Saturday to the Clarksburg Armory at 7 p.m. Buy tickets or the live pay-per-view at WDToughman.com. It's Tough Man this Friday and Saturday. Featured pro bout Trey Stout Friday night and Zach Randolph versus Keith Barr Saturday night. After party at Brickside Bar and Grill.
A former longtime fixture at the state capitol has died. Former Marion County lawmaker Paul Prunty died last weekend at the age of 82. Prunty served in the legislature from 1972 to 2000. His popularity among voters transcended political parties. He won election as a Democrat and as a Republican. There's no longer a vacancy on the Logan County Board of Education. State School Superintendent Michelle Blatt has appointed Logan businessman Craig Markham to that position. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Back at the West Virginia State Capitol at the AARP broadcast location. The West Virginia Lottery is turning 40 and wants to celebrate you. Play in-store and online all year and enter in the app for your chance to win a share of $3 million in cash and prizes, including cruise packages and the big $1 million draw. So don't miss out on these monthly drawings. Visit WVLottery.com for details. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Joining us at the ARP broadcast location is the House Finance Committee Chairman Vernon Criss. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, let's dive right into it. Governor's State of the State last night. We already knew going in he was going to ask for a personal income tax cut of 5 to 10%. He asked for 10% last night. Heard in the Senate side this morning, that's aspirational, and we could do 5%. House Finance Committee Chairman, well, can we do a personal income tax cut?
Well, we already have a tax plan in place for reduction that we passed a couple years ago. And as the economy grows and meets its parameters, we take the cuts as needed. At the end of the Justice Administration, almost clear to the end of the session or into his term, we took an advanced cut to show that we had a 25% cut in our income tax rates at that time. It probably was not prudent when we look back now, because it advanced the tax cut before the economy could absorb it. And so now we need to continue to look at any other additional tax cuts over the plan so that we don't get ahead of ourselves or out over our skis, or however you want to say it, because we need the economy to continue to grow. Any other time that we have taken tax cuts in other areas, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, the food tax. When we put the food tax back on in 1989 and we eventually got rid of it, when we got to that point when we could see that we could work without that food tax, we did it over a period of time. That as the economy grew, we could shrink the sales tax on food and totally eliminate it. We have now, in the third year of starting this calendar year, the elimination of tax on Social Security. The same process. We did it over a 3-year period. As the economy grows, we can absorb those cuts and make sure the economy continues to grow to take care of the necessary services for the state of West Virginia. You know, I'm a realist. I wake up every morning at 5 o'clock. I know that by 6 o'clock in the morning, there has been a service that this state of West Virginia, as a service company, we have had to provide one of our citizens of 1.8 million people. That costs money. And we need to make sure that we can continue to provide the services that our citizens want and need and that are necessary, and that we have the funds available to continue to do that. And so that's the important part as being the finance chair, that we make sure that all works.
The governor framed the issue this morning as being competitive with other states, Ohio, Kentucky. Is that a fair comparison? Because when I look at those states, they don't have the labor problems we have. They have higher labor participation rates. They have larger economies. Is that a fair characterization? Can we even play with them? Are they always going to outcompete us to some degree?
In some forced manner, they will, because of the sheer population. I mean, when you look at in my case, where I'm from in Parkersburg, dealing with the state of Ohio along the Ohio River all the time, even though our economies gel. For instance, in the Parkersburg-Marietta area, Belpre, and the Mid-Ohio Valley there, people work on both sides of the river. They live on both sides of the river. They come to work across the bridges, and we look at that as the total economic community. So we have to do that every day. Yes, we like the fact that, for instance, we were able to bring Hino to trucks to Parkersburg area. Started out in Williamstown originally, and then they've moved to the Mineral Wells area in a facility there. And people that work there come from Ohio. And then we have also across the river plastics operations that people from Parkersburg area go to work there. So, we do on a daily basis compete with those people on that local level. But, the Nucor steel operations, they looked at both Ohio and West Virginia. They had just completed an plant in Kentucky before they came to West Virginia, and we were successful in the selling because we met eye to eye with those people. We went out and knocked on their door, and we shook their hand and sat down at a table and looked at each other in the eye and said, what is it that we need to do as a state to help you come and make the decision to come to West Virginia? That's what we need to be doing, and we're not doing that.
Vernon Chris is joining us here at the ARP broadcast location, Upper Rotunda of the State Capitol. He's House Finance Committee Chair. Can we do a pay raise for state employees?
I think so.
How much?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
He offered in his budget the 3%. We're going to take a look at that. We offered in our economic development plan from the speaker's platform, we were looking at a 5% raise for teachers and service personnel. So we'll figure it out. This is a game. The art of the game is the compromise. So we'll figure it out, and we'll make some kind of adjustments.
Not talking about the merit of the program, but just the financial impact. Does Hope give you heartburn at all?
Yes, it does.
How would you like to massage that so that you don't have heartburn?
I want to continue the program to make sure that those people that want to use those dollars to educate their children are always going to be there. And that we know in future years out that we have a consistent dollar available, and it's a sure thing. Okay, we did that with Promise Scholarship. When Bob Wise introduced the Promise Scholarship a number of years ago for colleges, they went through this hiccup area for 3 or 4 years. We're starting to see that same thing now in Hope. So we're going to have to take a look at it and see what we can come up with to make sure, one, that we take care of tuition and curriculum, and that the technology part for homeschooling is taken care of. And then we need to take a look at the other items that are already there that may not be, educational type things that should be done outside of the Hope. So we're taking a look at that.
Since we're talking about things that may give you heartburn, federal funding. West Virginia does not appear as if it's going to get the same amount of federal funding it has in the past. How do you factor all of that in as you start to go through the budget process here in the session?
For human services, the language that we have emphasized to the administration, we can't be everything for everybody anymore. We need to look at the programs that the federal government is going to continue, that we have to do the matching dollars for, and we need to look at the programs that are only state funded. And some of those programs may not necessarily be needed now that we see where the feds are dropping dollars. It is a disgrace for the state of West Virginia to miss any federal dollar in any situation.
You're talking about a match.
Exactly. We are fortunate in one sense that we get a lot of federal dollars back into our budget. If you look at our total state revenue dollars, we're at $5.8, $5.9 billion of state revenues. We turn that into $25 billion as a total budget for the entire state of West Virginia as a service company. So you can see that we have a tremendous amount of federal dollars coming into the state that we use for the services of our people.
Quick thoughts on revenue estimates. You saw those this morning.
Yes.
Takeaways?
It doesn't surprise me. There is a natural growth in revenues because you have salary increases, you have normal inflation increases on sales. They projected about $170 million increase in revenues totally. In not knowing what our energy prices are, they this morning, and I just left the meeting. They were projecting that energy prices seem to be stable right now in the oil and gas industry. We know that in coal, our production is up, but our prices are way down, and we're feeling the effects of not dealing with China in our coal markets. That most of our coal now is the export coal that we have out, especially in metallurgical, is seeing a severe decline because steel demand is down. So our coal for making steel is shrinking for right now, and a lot of it's because we're not in the China market right now. Our steam coal is still basically holding its own, and it has a stable price on it. So we're working through that. But that's our biggest variable in our revenue estimates right now.
House Finance Committee Chairman Vernon Chris, hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll chat again soon.
Yes, I'm sure.
More from the upper rotunda of the state capitol right after this.
and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZMM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZMM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! Stike Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. And we craft detailed financial plans for people like you because you're building your retirement your way. You deserve advice that's built to handle what your life brings. To meet with your Stike Team advisor, call us at 304-443-4240 or email stike-info@wealthenhancement.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Dave and TJ in the West Virginia State Capitol, Upper Rotunda at the AARP broadcast location. Joined now by Kanawha County Delegate Kayla Young. Kayla, good to see you.
Good morning. Day 2. Let's go.
I like the enthusiasm.
Bam!
Ready to roll. Your thoughts on last night's State of the State address?
I mean, most of it was stuff we've heard before, right? I don't know that we got really anything new. No economic development announcements, not a lot of talk. He said affordability a couple times, but no real proposals to bring cost of living down.
Can we afford a tax cut?
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure that we can.
You're not the only one.
No, you're not.
There's skepticism on the right side of the aisle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been told that I'm not sure that it is a 10% tax cut, quite frankly. So we need to look at the numbers and see if we can actually afford it, whatever we can do. So it seems like it's maybe a 5% cut in the budget across the board and a 5% offset in some way. We'll see.
Not much talk. There was acknowledgement that West Virginians are facing increased cost, utility bills, cost of housing, cost of living in general. Not much in the way of addressing that unless you're talking about tax cuts and growing the economy, what would you have liked to have heard?
Yeah, that's right. And I heard the governor on earlier in the hour mentioning that as West Virginia becomes a net exporter of energy, that people's utility bills are going to go down. We're already a net exporter of energy, so I'm not really sure how that's going to make people's bills go down even more. We're already making more energy than we can use in the state.
How do you want to lower utility bills? I wrote a piece earlier in the week talking about your agenda. You told me you have some ideas. I love specifics. I know you do too.
Yeah.
How do we lower utility bills?
Yeah, so I mean, I think one thing we can do is bring some accountability to the PSC, bring some accountability to the regional transmitter organization, the PJM market, to make sure that we actually know what's going on at those things. Is that directly going to bring costs down? I'm not sure, but we want people to have a little bit of say in their utility bills at all. There's a little bit of education that needs to happen there. One thing we could do is a rate freeze. We can do quite a bit to protect ratepayers from subsidizing these data centers that we think are going to come in. That's a big worry that we're seeing all across the country. So we just want to make sure that we're protecting ratepayers.
Is FERC not taking care of those things?
Not really, no. They haven't really taken care of a lot of those things in a while to make sure that people's costs are low. We had some conversations about transmission lines, and that was the most I've seen the Republicans fight in a while, quite frankly.
Yeah, Morrow line came up during discussions. I saw
yeah.
that. Kayla Young joining us here at the ARP broadcast location. TJ and I have talked about the situation public schools are in. Most recently, we talked about Hancock County, but we've talked about several of them they're underwater. How do we address them?
They are underwater, and the governor mentioned investing in public education, but his only proposal was science of reading bills, which we support the science of reading, but I didn't hear anything about dollars going into public education at all, just funding the Hope Scholarship that consultants told us yesterday we can't afford to do anymore.
So you want to take it away completely?
No, not saying that in the slightest, but I do think we should look at some guardrails and reining it in some capacity, whether that's just getting more data on who's applying, whether that's an income cap. We simply can't afford it. I mean, the surplus that's projected right now doesn't even cover the cost of the scholarship for the next year, let alone any of the other proposals he put forward.
What do you want to see with public education? I mean, we have a state aid formula. We fund the state aid formula. Schools are still struggling. Where do we need to start?
They are. I mean, I think we could look at how the Board of Education's function as a whole. A lot of people say there's too much money in the administrative portion. I'm not specifically tied to one or the other, but we need to look at it. Clearly what we're doing is not working, so we need to look at other alternatives.
I mean, we have schools can't make payroll. Roane County had a problem. Hancock County we're hearing about now. I'm hearing about a fund that may help bail them out. I get it. We need to pay our teachers, but we can't keep doing that.
No, I completely agree with that. And we also have enrollment going down by an average of 20% in each county. That means whatever we're doing is not working.
Less counties, less boards? I mean, do we have to get real?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth considering all proposals, right? I think we're open to just looking to see at what's working. We are losing population at a massive rate. We need to just figure out what we can do to help everybody to make sure that all students are being accounted for, because we do not have great educational outcomes, as we saw in our economic outlook yesterday.
How does the Caucus of Nine approach the legislative session?
I mean, I think we bring forward common sense policies. We are ultra focused on bringing people's costs down in very, very, very tangible ways this session. And we try to work to get those bills across the finish line. Some of the things the governor mentioned last night were proposals we've been putting forward for years. Portable benefits, micro-credentialing, things that just make common sense.
Explain portable benefit very, very quickly. That caught my ear last night.
Yeah, so typically in our society, benefits are tied to your employer. This is a system where they wouldn't be tied to your employer. There would be state options available where folks have them on their own. Really great for self-employed people, really small businesses that can't afford to reasonably pay for insurance for their folks. So it goes with the person, not with the job.
So the benefits, the employer rolls it into your 401k. You keep that no matter how many jobs.
That's right.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Talk to me about housing. I know that's a big one. Roger Hanshaw on yesterday said, hey, let's cut sales tax on building supplies.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Other things we can do are increasing supply, and there's a lot of ways to do that. We can work to bring zoning regulations down so it's more uniform across the state. I think that is a very bipartisan idea, to do whatever we can. Accessory dwelling units are huge, making sure that there aren't minimum lot sizes, minimum parking spaces.
So the zoning's too onerous.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to cut red tape. Makes sense, huh?
Cut red tape.
Huh.
I was just kind of, there are bipartisan ideas. There's still such things as bipartisan
ideas.
ideas.
By the politics, though?
Well, and it would be nice.
Because they're not going to want to give you a win.
Do these people not talk about cutting red tape all the time? Why does it matter who's introducing it?
I agree with you, but
I don't think
is that reality, though?
It should be reality,
Well,
because
I
I
agree with
think
that, too.
regular people think that these are normal policies. They don't care. Do we know who sponsors the bills that pass? Not usually. Normal people do not care about that. The people in this building should care about it a little less.
Kanawha County Delegate Kayla Young. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Happy session.
Got to take a break. Wrap up hour number 1 in a moment. This is Talkline from the AARP broadcast location.
Ultra-fast fiber network across West Virginia, bringing reliable, lightning-fast internet to more homes every day. With plans up to 10 gig, you'll enjoy unbeatable speed for streaming, gaming, and working from home. And right now, new customers get 50% off any plan for their first year, now as low as $25 a month. No contracts, free installation, local support you can count on. Check availability today at citynet.net. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan.
The health plan is still growing, giving you a large network of doctors, friendly and helpful customer service representatives, and competitive, flexible pricing plans that meet your needs. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Coming to the Beckley Convention Center, Saturday 23rd and 24th. Who are the toughest men and women in the state of West Virginia? Watch Tough Man live on MetroNews Television to find out. Featured fights, top 5 finishes, and event archives. Download MetroNews Television on iPhone, iPad, Android, Roku, LG TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Find out more at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Come to Dan Cava GMC this holiday season and find a truck built for every winter moment. From the GMC Canyons that are now up to $2,500 off to the 2,500 GMC Sierras that are now up to $5,000 off, and the Sierra 1500s that are now up to $10,000 off. We've got the winter-ready trucks that your family can count on. Come see us today at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
It's high school basketball season, and MetroNews Television has you covered. Rivalries, buzzer beaters, classic hardwood competition. Watch live and on demand from gyms across the Mountain State. Stream MetroNews Television on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select smart TVs. Or visit MetroNewsTV.com for more information. High school basketball lives here on MetroNews Television.
Virginia.
Brisk first hour here in the upper rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. We still have a full second hour to go. Still ahead, State Treasurer Larry Pack will join us. We'll talk to Larry coming up about 6 minutes from now. Brad McElhenney will tell us what was going on over in Senate Finance this morning as they got a detailed presentation on Governor Morrissey's budget. And Amelia Nicely will join us from West Virginia Watch. She has a story this morning involving a foster care child who was actually injured at one of those off-site places where they were staying under state care. So we'll get details on that story from Amelia coming up here in the second hour. Go grab you another cup of coffee, get an elephant ear, and enjoy the second hour of Metro News Talkline, live from the state capitol on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Lost him. And you know what? It was just about to get good, too. It was just getting good. We lost him.
Should we take the break and maybe he'll call back? I don't know.
You know what? We can take the break and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have a I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, yeah, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. I bet you that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the Northern Panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous. Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude. We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game.
I know.
You were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So because I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually you want to kind of sports show? It's syndicated.
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the
Only
rest
edition.
of the edition, yeah.
Yeah. Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who were from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
MetroNews Talkline already in progress. We are live in the Upper Rotunda, the West Virginia State Capitol, for the 2026 legislative session. David TJ in Charleston. Stephanie Pauly is our on-site video producer. Zach Karolczyk and Jake Link handle the control room back in Morgantown. If you're watching on one of our MetroNews TV apps, or if you're listening on one of our great radio affiliates, Ethan Collins is handling the audio side of things this morning. We'll be back in the usual studios tomorrow, and then back to the Capitol for the middle of the week next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Once again, good morning, TJ.
Good morning, sir.
And to TJ's immediate left, if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app, joining us now at the AARP broadcast location, State Treasurer Larry Pack. Larry,
good morning.
To see you.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Doing well, doing well.
Day two. We're rolling.
People have you hear excitement in people's voice will gradually go down as we get to day 37,
no
day
question.
42 on down the line. They get excited about day 58.
Yes, absolutely.
The excitement comes back.
Absolutely. Plus, it'll be spring by then, too. So
yeah, it'll start warming up. You'll have basketball tournaments going on.
Lots of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, State of the State address last night as we transition. Just your thoughts on the governor's message to the legislature last night.
Well, I think as far as the speech, it was a political speech, right? I thought it was well delivered. He talked about just a lot of different things. I think when it comes to, I'm a nerd. When it comes to substance, I think it's a little light on substance without a doubt. Really, I think probably one of the things that I saw the most striking thing I think was that this is the second State of the State in a row where we didn't have any job announcements, where we didn't talk about job announcements, and I think that was that really shows the difference, I think, between the current administration and previous administration, not just Governor Justice's administration, then Governor Justice's administration, is just a focus on jobs. So I think it was probably the most disappointing part of the speech as far as I was concerned.
He talked about today on the show with us about the fundamentals. He talks about site selection. I don't think anybody would argue that's a good idea. He talks about water, sewer. But you don't in fairness, hear him talk a lot about hunting. He said there's things out there, but he's not going to talk about them until they come to fruition. You got to do both, though, don't you?
Well, I think so. I think focusing on fundamentals is a really good thing. I think focusing on this, reducing fuel regulations. We did a few things last year, but the mostly thing that we talk a lot about is we have a one place you go for all your permits, fees, and licenses, but we didn't get rid of any permits, fees, and licenses. But, while we're getting ready and we're trying to get the goal line, and I think he really has good intentions, but the fact is, it seems like every day or every week, Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, they're announcing jobs and big jobs. And a lot of times these jobs are related to fossil fuels. But they're not coming here, they're coming across the border. And so it's really time for us to focus on those and bring those home. And changing our fundamentals, I'm not exactly sure what he means when he says that. But businesses go where it's the easiest to go, where they can get predictability, where they can move fast. And for whatever reason, this administration doesn't seem to be focused on that. And you can see that, with respect to, if you look at the amount of business or volume at the Western Economic Development Authority, we're not doing very much there at all. I'm on that board, and very little is happening there. We've got the same amount of money in the high impact funds today that we had when Governor Justice was in office, so we're not going after the Nucors, the Century Metals, the Form Energies. We're just not going after those folks, the Berkshire Hathaways. We need to get in gear. We need to go after business. We really need jobs. Almost every issue we have, every challenge we have can be mitigated if we have jobs, but you have to focus on them. You have to listen to businesses, and you have to pursue them. I don't think we're pursuing them.
Is that what we're lacking? Is it the pursuit? Is it the wooing of, getting them to want to come here? Where are we lacking that?
Well,
compared to Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky.
Well, again, when you think about, if you remember President Blair, a couple of years ago, he talked about moving at the speed of business. So we tried to give answers really quickly when businesses were interested in coming to West Virginia, but we were sending our Commerce Secretary, we were sending Mitch Carmichael all over the country, talking to people and talking about West Virginia, talking up West Virginia. And we saw fruits. We've seen a lot of fruits come into our state. So we had a lot of job announcements over those period of time. But I don't think that's what governors have always done, right? We've always pursued businesses, pursued jobs. So, we want to focus in West Virginia on our fossil fuels. That is absolutely always going to be our base. I think God gave us those resources, oil, gas, and coal. But what we tried to do during the Justice administration is diversify, bring in Time Int, bring in Century Metals, bring in a Nucors. We have to continue that pace, and I think we've lost a lot of energy the last couple of years.
Team West Virginia. Roger Hanshaw's talked about it. Mirrors jobs. Ohio. Are you a fan?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a really good idea. Basically, it does a couple of things. It professionalizes that aspect. So we have people that are trained. That their sole job is to bring jobs to West Virginia, and they do it 24/7. They don't change what they're doing when administrations change. They don't change when someone leaves, someone comes in. So it takes the politics out of it and brings business decision professionals into it. So I think it's a really good idea. I look forward to seeing how that moves. Again, there's a lot of decisions on how you get there, but other states, they are absolutely aggressively every day looking for jobs and pursuing it. And when you look around our border, pick whatever state you want to look at. Maryland may be the exception, but everywhere else, they're absolutely moving faster than we are.
Larry Pack is joining us, West Virginia State Treasurer, here at the AARP broadcast location. I want to ask you about Hope Scholarship. Your office administers that. It keeps growing. The numbers keep getting bigger. Can we continue the path we're on, the trajectory we're on with Hope Scholarship, or are guardrails needed, or a reexamination of how we fund that?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm very thankful that the governor has fully funded Hope for next year. So I think it's really great and very appreciative of that. Hope's changing a lot. So the biggest change for Hope is we're going to have universal eligibility for next school year starting next September. What I've been advocating for is let's let universal eligibility happen. Let's figure out how much money we're talking about. Right now we have guesstimates. We really don't know how many students, how many parents are going to take advantage of the program. Once we know that, then I think that's the time to start looking and see if we need to make adjustments and put some additional changes on if we want to. We did that with Promise many years ago. So I think it makes sense to do some of this, but I think it's too early because, again, we don't know the number. Is it 20,000 students? Is it 40,000 students? once we know that number, it's going to be a lot easier to budget it. It's going to be a lot easier to figure out how it fits in the budget. But what I do know is there's a lot of parents all around the state that are taking advantage of this program. It really is changing lives. It's giving students choice. I think it's also moving the public schools for them to be able to interact and be more competitive. But that's probably one thing also I was disappointed about in the governor's speech last night. He didn't talk about public schools. He didn't talk about moving our teachers from the 50th pay in the nation to something different, right?
3% doesn't get that done?
3% doesn't even cover inflation the last 2 years, right? They didn't get a raise last year, so you take inflation for the last 2 years, probably 5%. So they're
plus 3% premium increase on the PIA.
Yeah. So we're with the increase at the 3%. We're saying I'm glad you put at least 3%, but we will still be 50th in the nation. If we want to attract teachers, we want to retain teachers, we've got to do better.
Talk to me a little bit about this tax cut. It came out last night asking for 10%. Some that have looked at the budget this morning are saying, well, it's really a 5% with a 5% offset and then budget cuts elsewhere. With all of that said, the governor's own pro formas looking forward in the out years have anywhere from a $200 million to $400 million hole. Can we afford a 10% tax cut?
Well, his numbers make you think maybe we can, right? So what he has in the budget is my understanding. What I've seen this morning, and again I haven't looked through all 300 or 400 pages.
Sure.
Is his budget his revenue estimates are reflecting a 5% personal income tax cut effective January 1 of 2026. So 15 days ago. That's about $125 million. So he's reflected that in his budget estimates in his budget for this year. There's no discussion about a 10%. So basically his plan, his data says 5%. So I commend the governor for suggesting a 5% tax cut. But now what the legislature has to do, they have to look at the expenditure. So he's moved some stuff. The governor's moved some stuff out of the current budget into kind of a surplus budget to pay for some things. Medicaid might be the first thing, so there's going to be questions about the expenditure side of the budget, looking at that and see how that fits. Also, the legislature have to look at the ongoing years going out, and it's cost $200 or $300 million a year. So it's really hard to reduce your revenue or increase your expenses today if you're going to have a shortfall down the road. So there's a lot of discussions. I think a lot of digging we're going to have to do to make sure that the state of West Virginia, based upon the governor's expenditures, right? So the expenditure side, these are his priorities. These are things he thinks we need to spend money on. Is there enough money for a 5% cut, much less a 10% cut?
What about the $100 million road fund? Can we pull that off?
Absolutely.
Do we need it?
Absolutely. Yes, and yes. We have a lot of money sitting in state government coffers that is just sitting there, right? So I talked about the Economic Development High Impact Fund. That hasn't been spent. We've got money in the Water Development Fund that hasn't been spent. That's for water and sewer. We've got contingency money in the governor's contingency plan. We've got the personal PIT fund of $500 million. We've got money everywhere. So absolutely we have the $100 million to work on our roads. We need to continue to try to bring our roads up. But, roads is an ongoing expense, and we have to continue to work on that. And, again, a lot of that started in the Justice Administration, but there's still more work to do on roads.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, something you've talked about. I didn't hear that in the speech last night. What are you hearing from the legislators who would ultimately have to pass that?
The governor's real clear in his speech, although it was nuanced a little bit, that he does not believe that the President Trump's plan to remove the tax on tips, to remove tax on overtime, that's something that West Virginia should do. So he is not including that in his budget. He made a statement in last night, again a little bit nuanced, that he was not going to do that. So he doesn't think that's a good program or something good to do. I think we should do it. I think the folks, again, that work on overtime, many folks working in West Virginia to get overtime, work on tips should do it.
This may sound like a duh question, but I know somebody's out there thinking it right now. How is it West Virginia has money, sitting on money it's not spending, but at the same time doesn't have enough money to fund public schools adequately, roads adequately, pick whatever agency is underfunded? How do those two things exist at the same time?
Well, I think part of it is it's your expenditure stuff. So if you heard the governor last night, he's added some programs, right? And I can't delineate on, but he talked about different things we're going to do. It's what your spending priorities are. We have the money to do that, but last year we spent the governor's budget basically spent all the money coming in. He's doing the same thing this year. So it's kind of doing the Justice Administration, think about it, we really put a lot of money in their savings account. We wanted to make sure that Governor Justin wanted to make sure that when he went to the Senate, that West Virginia's balance sheet, the amount of cash on hand, would be really, really strong. Well, that money's still there. We haven't spent a lot of it, so we can do that. Now, ongoing, every year you've got to look at your household budget, you've got to look at your business budget, you've got to look at the state budget. And the budget is getting a lot tighter. I think a lot of it is because we're not seeing those job announcements. We're not seeing those jobs coming into West Virginia. So the budget's getting tighter. It's getting a little bit tougher to do that. But it's all about priorities. That $5.4 billion or $5.5 billion of spending is the governor's priorities, and he decides what he thinks is more important. I really think we should move on importance to public schools. I think we need to give more local control to our public schools. I think we need to give some more funding to our public schools so we don't close so many. But again, we've got to really do a lot of work there, but that was not addressed yesterday. So if you think about the budget, it was a lot of status quo with a little bit of tweaks is the way I would look at it, and a few new programs.
When you think about, I'm going to go back to the jobs aspect of it. I was listening to John Deskins yesterday. He was here. I don't know if you heard his presentation or not, but he just talked about our labor participation rate. We've talked about it a lot. Randy Smith said something yesterday that's just resonated with me. We're talking about enough people aren't working in West Virginia. He said we make it too easy not to work.
Well,
I think he may be right.
That is basically 80 years of every program in the world. West Virginia Democrats approving everything coming out of Washington, but we absolutely, our safety net is so safe that people don't have to work. But remember, a lot of those issues were created on the participation rate back when the coal jobs went away, when the factories left West Virginia and went overseas. And that's where a lot of it came. And then also, if you look at it geographically, the participation rate in the North Central and Eastern Panhandle is really, really good. It's really coal fields that's really having a tough time. And so, but it is getting better. But there's no question we make it way easy for people to not work. But again, as we create more jobs, as we allow more jobs to be created, we bring more people in the state. That really is changing over time, so I think it's going to be positive, but it's going to take some time to really move those numbers appreciably. But again, a lot of what President Trump is doing, a lot of things in the big, beautiful bill is trying to get people back to work.
He's Larry Pack. He is the treasurer of the great state of West Virginia. Appreciate you stopping by today. Come by anytime. We'll be here most of the session.
Good deal. I'll do that. See you guys.
Coming back, we'll talk to Brad McElhenney here in a couple of minutes. This is Talkline from the Upper Rotunda, the West Virginia State Capitol. Back in a moment.
High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit WVHTF.org to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Principal Greg Dosh of MTech.
Thanks to funding in part from West Virginia lottery proceeds, we're expanding MTech with a new STEM edition.
Across West Virginia, opportunities like these are made possible when you play, helping to ensure more students can discover their future right here at home. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery for education have totaled $4.1 billion. West Virginia Lottery, 18 plus to play responsibly.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates operates near that benchmark. It provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees,
Fantasy
and a
sports
rewarding
tips.
points program, all from a bank you know and trust.
Hilarious
Visit your
ones,
local
too.
Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email steig-info@wealthenhancement.com.
Talkline continues up a rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. When it comes to you covered, their expert team monitors, detects, and protects your network 24/7. Keep your business secure with CityNet's Cyber Suite solutions. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects. Brad McElhenney will join us coming up. Joining us here at the ARP broadcast location, Katie Gattens. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
With the Mineral County Chamber of Commerce. It's Mineral County Day here at the state capitol. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, what's happening in Mineral County?
Okay, so Mineral County Day has evolved over the years to Mineral County Days. So we had a full day of meetings with departments yesterday: commerce, transportation, DNR, tourism, arts, culture, everybody. We met with everyone. What we do is come down here to have a full day of meetings to talk about what our main legislative priorities are going into the session each year. And this year particularly, is exciting for us because it is the 25th year of this event for us. So for a quarter century, a contingent of Mineral Countyans has come to Charleston to advocate for what we want and what we need, and to thank our legislators for everything that they continually do for us year over year. So it's one of the biggest events we've had so far, and we're really just excited to be here, to be a part of the legislative session, see it in live and in person.
What do you want and need?
Okay, so our two priorities this year are advocacy for what we call the North-South Corridor, which is a highway that would connect I-68 in Allegheny County, Maryland, down to Corridor H in Grant County. Of course, Corridor H is a hot topic right now because it's, getting closer and closer and closer to completion. So it would be a key economic connector coming through our region, just because there's north-south for 79 and 81. And our area there in the Potomac Highlands just doesn't have a substantial route for commerce and shipment that we really truly need for economic expansion.
Because when you're going across I-68 right there and you're headed, over toward, to hit 81 to get to Martinsburg, there's no easy way. There's no easy way to get down there.
It takes a long time to get from one valley to the other. There's not an easy way across the mountains. Actually, from our county, from one end of our county to the other, is well over an hour to get from the northern end, close to Cumberland, Maryland. They're in Carpendale, Wiley Ford area, down almost to Lake Elk Garden, down in kind of Grant County region. It takes a really long time. Now, you can do it, but it's, again, for freight, for commerce, it's really, really difficult. So that was our first priority. The second priority involves our Mineral County schools. And we really are focusing on what we call school support services, which is everything that from the community and from the school system that helps keep kids in school and take care of the whole child. We find that that's really important, and that helps us really on every metric to keep the kids in school, make sure they're taken care of from every facet. So those are our two overarching priorities for the event this year. Of course, for every department meeting, we have other discussions, but those are really our two main focuses this year.
More school aid formula money, always a good thing. I would think you could never have too much money.
Absolutely. We're definitely in favor of that. We're always doing a whole lot with a little. In fact, we had a Department of Education meeting yesterday with both assistant superintendents, and we were so fortunate to meet with them and really talk with them for quite a while about what some of our needs are. And I'll tell you, as a parent of children in public schools in Mineral County, I'm so proud of the things that they do. We were very fortunate to have a brand new elementary school that both of my kids attend, Frankfort Elementary School. But faculty, staff, superintendent, everyone in our county, all the way up to the state level, is just so accessible and so open to meeting the needs that we have, whether it's across the state or something specific to us. So just to know that we've got that support for our schools is fantastic.
This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update. Check in with the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Population. During a State of the State address last night at the Capitol, the governor addressed the low workforce participation rate.
And I have a message for everyone. If you are ready to work, West Virginia is ready for you.
WVU Bureau of Business and Economic Research Director John Deskins told lawmakers earlier in the day that the state's workforce participation rate is just over 50%. That's the lowest in America, and he said that's got to change.
There's no way, it's virtually a mathematical impossibility. There's no way that we can ever achieve the outcomes that we want. There's no way that we could achieve something like a per capita personal income that's on par with the national average. There's no way we could achieve that unless we also move labor force participation up.
Deskins suggested the quickest way to do that would be to attract a data center, an idea that has been roundly criticized for environmental reasons. In Greenbrier County, a convicted sex offender who was free on parole is back behind bars. Sheriff Bob Baker and his deputies on Wednesday arrested 55-year-old Robert Dean Schaefer II of Rupert. The arrest came after the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force contacted the Sheriff's Department about evidence that Schaefer had been soliciting, acquiring, distributing, and possessing large amounts of child pornography and child sexual assault images. He is in jail today without bond. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? RDR Utility Services, Bad Lizard Granite and Quartz, Romager Dental, Revitalize Health and Med Spa, Paramount Energy Services, present the 47th Annual Budweiser Tough Man Contest. Welcome by 5 News WDTV and 97.9 WKKW. Coming to the Clarksburg Armory Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Buy tickets or the pay-per-view at WVToughman.com. That's WVToughman.com. Featured Pro Bout, Trey Stout Friday night, and Zach Randolph versus Keith Barr on Saturday night. After party at Brickside Bar and Grill.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
The U.S. Marshals Service is warning of a scam happening in West Virginia. Scammers contact random people, often by text or phone, falsely claiming that they are the target of federal law enforcement and they're being tracked. They're being tracked for illegal action, criminal behavior, and other allegations. And to avoid arrest, that individual is demanded to make immediate payment through Bitcoin, gift cards, or wire transfers. Marshals emphasize federal law enforcement does not work in that manner. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
MetroNews Talkline in the Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. Life is busy. Your health care should not slow you down. With WVU Medicine's My WVU Chart app, you can schedule your appointments anytime, anywhere, right from your phone or computer. Whether it's a virtual visit or an in-person checkup, booking is quick and easy. Don't have an account? Sign up today at mywvuchart.com or download the app. Take control of your health with WVU Medicine and My WVU Chart, your care, your schedule. Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney was working furiously just a moment ago. He joins us here at the AARP broadcast location. Brad's report brought to you by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at AARP West Virginia and learn more at aarp.org/WV. What were you working on, Brad?
You know, you got to use every moment around here. And I will say I was not furious, but, you know, the governor did broad strokes of his vision for the coming year during his State of the State address, but you do get the opportunity typically every Thursday following that address to get under the hood and begin taking a look at the budget. So I was at a Senate Finance budget hearing this morning. And before you snooze, you know, it's interesting if you care about the state's financial status and how it might look going forward. The governor has suggested a budget of $5.4 billion, a general revenue budget, and it's got some, you know, notable components. Last night he outlined what he would like to do as a 10% personal income tax cut, and then also 3% public employee pay raises. To me, the outstanding questions from here on out are, do lawmakers think the state can afford the tax cut of whatever level, as well as is that 3% pay raise the right amount? You know, we're operating in parallel worlds. You've had both the governor and the House Finance Chair this morning, but one of the takeaways was the governor, with his words, tried to sell the people of West Virginia on a 10% personal income tax cut, but what his administration has budgeted for currently is 5%. The full 10% is aspirational.
So let's unpack that. Let's translate. Is that saying, okay, here's 5%, you guys carry the water on the other 5%, or find offsets on the other 5%? Or is that the governor saying, yeah, I called for 10 last night, but I'm willing to settle for 5? How should we read that?
I think all of that, the way Revenue Secretary Nelson described it to senators, was we've got 5% on the black and white of paper right now, and the governor would like to work with you on the additional 10% to find the offsets that you described.
Okay.
Whether they are there or not, I don't know. You know, in the hallway, I was trying to listen for the questions today, and so it's day 2, and people are kind of being polite right now. The rubber did not hit the road in that meeting. Senator Ben Queen, who was named this week as the majority whip, did ask some questions. Governor Morrissey this year has presented a balanced budget, and it's constitutionally required. But there is now the resumption of a 6-year plan, and that was presented today. And within a couple of years, it shows the state has maybe a $200 million budget gap. By, I think, 2031, that budget gap grows to about $400 million.
Correct, you are.
So, you know, that's kind of a drop in the bucket compared to the $5.4 billion budget the governor is recommending, but it's not nothing. It's of concern for the future. And I have seen, you know, budget crises over $400 million around here. So the very politely
last year,
the very politely Ben Queen stated question was, if we do the tax cut you're describing, won't that contribute to the deficits that are in this presentation down the road? And if we don't do it, won't it ease them up, alleviate them?
Well, we asked the governor that. He said we could afford it.
He said we could afford it.
I specifically mentioned the out years. Said we could afford it.
And, I mean, didn't we have, like you said, didn't we have a $400 million budget hole last year?
It's actually 6, wasn't it, Brad? Was it larger last year? But yeah, in that ballpark.
Anyway, yeah, that came up last year as well. I'll tell you this, listening to Vernon Chris, he is always very deliberate with his answers. I did not hear a guy who is very excited about the idea of additional tax cuts on top of the plan that is already in place. He referred to Kansas and the mistake they made by additional tax cuts. Roger Hanshaw made that same comparison yesterday when we spoke to him. It got a very lukewarm reception last night during the speech from lawmakers inside the House of Delegates. I'm not saying it doesn't go anywhere, but the governor, I think, has a very tall order to convince enough lawmakers that this is something to do. This is prudent to do in the midst of a plan to already phase out the personal income tax.
I would agree. And, what I heard in Senate Finance, again, was being polite and taking it in. But I think it's going to be a more blunt conversation as the next 58 days go by. I did make some hallway conversation with a couple of senators who were in the room, and in the hallway they were much more, I would say, skeptical about the state's ability to afford it, considering the budget gaps in the future.
Practically, if you're going to get that done, you're going to do 10%, I think you have to start to talk about consumption tax. You have to talk about sales tax increases. That's the only way the more prudent members that are very fiscally responsible, I think that's the only way that they would want to entertain something like that. And that is politically very difficult.
I was going to say, wait, a bunch of Republicans are going to propose any sort of a tax increase in an election year?
Well, I will say, I think
You're going out on a limb there.
A consumption tax is better aligns with the conservative position than does an income tax, Brad.
I agree, but when it gets complicated, it's hard to sell to the public. I mean, imagine the kinds of flyers that come to your house.
I get it.
And so you're raising taxes with one hand and lowering with the other. On the flyer, it becomes you raise taxes.
Well, I don't have the burden of running for office. So.
What was that? When was that, Brad? They tried that. They were trying to get rid of the business and occupation tax. Is that when it was? And there were this increases on these different sales taxes, and it got very complicated.
Them to other categories.
And people just went, all I see is you're raising my sales taxes, and that plan ended up collapsing. And I can't remember what year that was. That was
3-4 years back, maybe.
Yeah,
that
several years
right.
ago.
Yeah,
several years ago.
So I mean, let's overthink politics on this
Sure.
one. If the governor,
That's what we do.
If the governor has used his platform last night to tell the people he would like a 10% tax cut for them, but if he can't get it, is it just as good to say you tried and then you point the finger at the legislature and say they didn't do it? Or does it look like you haven't been able to get it?
I think so, and he doesn't have the burden of re-election coming up. They do, so that political onus will be on them. All he has to say is, I tried.
Hey, the 2028 election is on.
Yeah.
It's on right
now.
Well,
yeah, true.
Who was your previous guest?
So I have to tell you, there was a meme on X the other night. I had to laugh, fellas. The essence of the meme, it had a picture of Pac, and I don't think you'd mind anybody saying this, but it said, a man who holds the longest gubernatorial campaign record ever. Was basically what
4-year campaign.
saying. Yeah.
The other thing that's coming up, though, that was hinted at but not hit directly is the big, beautiful bill is going to have significant effects on the state budget. And some of the Medicaid effects, which are the major ones, are holding off for a couple of years. So West Virginia is not necessarily going to get hit with that Medicaid tsunami just yet, but it will. And that's another question. If you're going to do a 5 or 10% tax cut right now, what position have you put yourself in when the state has a greater share of those federal
And we have
costs?
some counties that can't make payroll for their teachers. Mm-hmm. We've run into that. Hancock, I don't know what we're going to do there. They're talking about that. We have to figure that out.
It's not because of shortage of money coming into Hancock
Well,
County.
that's fair. That's fair.
It is not a problem of they don't have enough money. Just saying. All right, Brad, what's on tap for this afternoon?
So, little dribs and drabs, the House economic development bills and Speaker Hanshaw presented, just a slew of them. That's a technical term, a slew, a month ago. Well, they're starting to run. They're like little bills on the economic development agenda on several committee agendas today. So none of them, with no offense intended toward the bills here on Capitol Hill, none of them blow me away necessarily as individuals, but the fact that the House has gotten serious and they're putting them on committee agendas already on the first real day of legislating, I think that's significant.
That may be one of those deals, TJ. Not, like Brad said, not a single bill blows you away, but the totality of it, the impacts if you get all of the bills through on the House side. Then you go, oh, we've got something here.
Yeah, we have a package that we can put together. And I mean, look, Brad, you know this. You've been here. There's a lot of bills that have been put up that are never going to see the light of day, but someone can go back home and say, I put it up, it just didn't get out of committee. We've had a lot of that. I also think there's a lot of conversational bills. Mike Oliverio putting a bill up, wanting to talk about how we have funding for roads, what goes where, having some kind of formula. I think that's going to spark a discussion or two. So there's some things like that as well.
He's Brad McElhenney. You can follow him all session long over at the website, wvmetronews.com. AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at AARP West Virginia and learn more at aarp.org/WV. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.
Amelia Nicely joins us next.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Principal Greg Dosh of MTech.
Thanks to funding in part from West Virginia lottery proceeds, we're expanding MTech with a new STEM edition.
Across West Virginia, opportunities like these are made possible when you play, helping to ensure more students can discover their future right here at home. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery for education have totaled $4.1 billion. West Virginia Lottery, 18 plus to play responsibly.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
It's Toyotathon, and we're determined to make this the best one yet. Starting now, when you purchase any brand new Tundra or Tacoma, you'll drive away with a personalized Dan Cava Yeti cooler. This December, unwrap incredible deals like 2.99% for 72 months on 2026 Tundras. Snow, sleet, or holiday travel, your perfect winter ride is waiting for you. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
MetroNews Talkline at the ARP broadcast location in the belly of the beast today. And the beast is kind of quiet today, TJ. I don't know if it's meetings going on or just if it's the cold weather.
Easing in.
Quiet.
People are easing in.
Well, we need to stir it up a little bit then.
Yeah, we do.
We're being too easy on them first couple of days of the session. Coming up, Metro News Midday across many of these same radio stations. They'll continue coverage from the state capitol. Over at WestVirginiaWatch.com, Amelia Nicely reports today a child in West Virginia foster care was injured while living at an Airbnb short-term rental property after the state placed the minor there. Joining us here at the ARP broadcast location, the aforementioned Amelia Nicely. Amelia, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. What happened?
So, West Virginia is using hotels and Airbnbs to house foster kids because we do not have enough appropriate placements for them here in the state. So, recently, I believe over the weekend, sometime recently, a child living in one of these Airbnb properties was injured. And the Department of Human Services said that they didn't provide many details. Of course, I've heard things off the record, but they did say that they provided appropriate medical care and that they're investigating the situation. So this story came to me through child welfare sources contacting me concerned that this child had been injured in one of these properties.
So, any indication, any sense, could the child have been injured in a facility just as easily as in the Airbnb? Is there something unique about the Airbnb?
I'm trying to share what I can share on the record. So I think the unique thing is that this is a home-like setting where there's maybe, I don't want to say less supervision because the department has to put 2 workers with a child in these situations, but these are children that often have behavioral issues, trauma, all kinds of things going on. And I think this home-like setting might have provided more opportunity for this child to harm themselves, if that makes sense. So I feel like I can say that safely.
Understood.
I think what it also does, it accentuates this issue that we have talked about where we have so many kids, 6,000 kids in the foster care system. We need more facilities, we need more people. It kind of accentuates the problem that we already know exists.
Yes, and for me, I was not aware until I started looking into the specific incident that we were using Airbnbs to house foster children. We've talked so much about hotel rooms, and so this was a revelation for me in confirming this with the Department of Human Services. So yes, it speaks to the shortage of appropriate housing. It also speaks to like how we're using our taxpayer dollars, right? Like we are having to pay a significant amount of money to put kids in hotels and Airbnbs because we don't have the more appropriate places for them. And as of Tuesday, we had 17 kids living in hotels or Airbnbs.
Let's talk about that. Governor hit on it a bit last night. Correct me on these numbers, but it seemed very low to me. I think he said $6 million to convert some facilities and would take care of that problem. That seems, I mean, that's petty change around here.
It does. I mean, gosh, healthcare funding seems so complicated to me. So I don't know the dollars and cents of construction. What I do know is that construction costs are really high, right? Let's start there. And then a lot of these state-owned buildings are really old. And then on top of that, the main thing you're going to have to pay for is staff.
Yeah.
And I mean, we want qualified staff that know how to work with children with behavioral issues. We don't just want someone making sure they don't harm themselves, right? We want like state-of-the-art programming that's going to help these kids. That's the goal. You have to pay for their education costs too. So yeah, in that way, $6 million seems low to me in this building. He wants to use federal money. He didn't say this last night, but he previously told reporters he was going to use federal money to fund that. But federal money's not forever. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But connecting that to this Airbnb issue, we have to increase our in-state placements. And so the more appropriate things we can have in-state for these children, hopefully we'll see fewer kids having to live in a hotel. And if I could just say too, to like drill down on that point, when you think about a child in state custody, they've come into state care typically because of abuse and neglect. So there's already trauma there. They're not going to a foster home with a parent who can advocate for them or make them a meal or just give them a hug. Imagine coming into foster care as a 10-year-old and then you're living in a hotel and then you're forced to do virtual learning and eat whatever food is available around there, right? So I think it's important to like shed light on that because we don't often get to hear from those kids, but that's just a lot of trauma for a child. I can't imagine now you're not with your family and then you're living in a hotel. That's hard. And I don't think anyone thinks that's the best case scenario for these children.
Amelia nicely joining us at the ARP broadcast location. Got about 90 seconds here. Your thoughts on the state of the state, and what have you heard as far as reaction goes around the Capitol today?
Gosh, I mean, it was a thing. It was a speech. It was fine. I don't think it was super. There wasn't a lot of substance to it. I think he hit on some things, but I think what I heard from lawmakers, and I would say had a similar reaction, was we're going to need a little bit more meat. Like, where is your plan for high power bills? Where is your plan? Like, we didn't hear specifically teacher pay raise, right? Or closing schools, things that community members talked to us about. I think that was kind of no mention of Medicaid. Gosh, like what a problem barreling toward us, right? So I think that's what stood out to me, but yeah.
So you could argue that is casting a high level of vision, and then he will come in and work the process and provide these details. Or you could argue that you don't have the plan. You don't know what you want to do. I don't know which one is true, but I think last night, I agree with you. I think a lot of people kind of tuned out when they didn't get the detail.
Yeah. Or to be fair, he may just not want to fix those problems. And that's his, that's his prerogative. Yeah.
He doesn't want to show his cards too early. He talked about showing his cards this morning.
Yes.
I don't know. You got the thing with Airbnbs, the 17 kids and the continued. We have to fix that this go around.
And it will take money. That's the key.
It will.
So, thank you all.
You can read Amelia's story at WestVirginiaWatch.com. Happy session.
Thank you. Happy session to you guys.
Back to wrap it up after this.
With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan.
The health plan is still growing, giving you a large network of doctors, friendly and helpful customer service representatives, and competitive, flexible pricing plans that meet your needs. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Stike Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. And we craft detailed financial plans for people like you because you're building your retirement your way. You deserve advice that's built to handle what your life brings. To meet with your Stike team advisor, call us at 304-443-4240 or email stike-info@wealthenhancement.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
You know, Amelia keeps making sarcastic comments about how excited I look. It's what I always look like.
It's your standard issue face.
Pretty much. My wife says, "Why do you look grumpy all the time?" I'm like, "Just my face. I can't do anything about it."
I don't mean to, but I have like a resting scowl, if that makes sense when I just look.
There's a term for that.
Yeah, well. Walked right into that brick wall, didn't I?
My wife calls it resting Dave face, but I digress. All right, we're back in the studios tomorrow. For Metro News Talkline. We'll have Steam Release, of course, coming up at 11:33. You can follow the news of the day over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Coming up on many of these same Metro News radio stations, you can take a listen to Metro News Midday. Dave and Amanda will get you through the middle part of the day. Then Hotline with Dave Weekly and, of course, Sportsline later tonight. Back in the studios tomorrow, back at the state capitol next week for Stephanie, Zach, Jake, Ethan, and TJ. I'm Dave. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.